That is a horrible decision.
Where did you get that idea?
Was this a self-made one, like a Steph original, or?
It was like, I have some extra oysters. Let's see what happens if we put them in a pot and bake them in the oven.
Oh my God!
It was so horrific that we had pizza that night, and to this day they still make fun of me around the Thanksgiving table.
You're like, I'm on TV. I can have a cooking show. Oyster casserole.
Oh, so it was like Thanksgiving potluck or something?
No, we were out at the beach. I mean, I can cook. I'm actually a really good cook. I think it'd be great to do like a DT office party cooking thing, like at someone's house that can accommodate.
I'm always down for that.
I would love that, but
Not
when
if
I
there's oyster
fail,
casserole,
I fail huge.
Yeah.
So no risk, no reward, as they say.
Okay, all right. I'm not sure about this oyster casserole thing.
no
That's just a terrible.
dysentery.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on the cooking show. I'll check it out afterward.
You can host. You don't have to talk. Or you don't have to eat anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just stare and judge. All right. I'm good at that. All right, we're coming in live right now. Hello, everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly roundtable podcast where we talk about all the trending things in technology and a bunch of other stuff. And we're live here, as we said, on Facebook and YouTube. And we want your comments, your questions, whatever you want to talk about. Hop in there and let us know. We've got a question, I believe, that's up right now on Facebook, just talking about the new iPhone that's coming out. Every week there's another rumor about the iPhone. And are you ready to buy it? Do you want to buy it? Will you buy it when it comes out? And that's kind of a general jumping off point of what we're going to be discussing. But we've got all kinds of things. We're going to talk about Alexa and the new Amazon Echo Show and how it's watching you at all times. Maybe not. We're going to talk about different AI things that are happening right now with artificial intelligence and phones and a lot of other things. I'm Greg Nibbler, but let's introduce our roundtable here. And for the first time on Trends with Benefits, you know her, you love her.
Well,
it is
you,
Steph.
maybe
you don't.
Maybe you don't. But
you'll
if
let
you
us
could
know.
Just pretend today. I would
tried
really
to set
appreciate
it up.
Thanks,
that was probably a bad setup for you. Now I'll be like, no, I don't know.
Open the floodgates.
But yes, it's
don't
Steph
know her.
Strickland. Hello, Steph.
Thank you.
And
Welcome, Rick Stella. I am the outdoor associate editor here. For
excellent. And on the end,
The Whiskey Mist.
the Whiskey
Oh,
Mist,
right.
which
Yeah.
before we get going too far, I do want to say the Whiskey Mist was recently in trouble with the law, and we do have a shot of it, I think, here that we might be able to show here in a second.
Wait a minute.
It is somebody here got busted by a traffic cam.
The Whiskey
It was
Mist.
killing-
Was this on Burnside?
No, this was on Halsey. I was barreling through at 37 and a 25 apparently, and the thing that drives me nuts about this thing is that at the bottom of the picture it has the threshold.
Yeah.
It was 36, so if I had been at 36 or below, they wouldn't
Yeah.
have popped me. Apparently I was at 37. I'm gonna actually debate this one. I think that the radar was off, and there's no way. I don't think my truck could have gotten to 37 miles per hour
In that
Yeah.
little
in that
area.
short little amount of time.
So you're gonna dispute it. You're gonna fight it.
I'm gonna try.
This has been
Okay.
tried before right
Yeah.
here in Oregon with that guy in Beaverton who engineered his way through those lights to get his wife out of the ticket,
Yeah,
saying
that's
that
right.
that the lights were timed wrong. So I'll go out there with a stopwatch with you, dude. We will make this
He also
happen.
got fined like $500.
Yeah,
for
for
claiming he was an
engineering.
engineer.
Really?
So
That's
you
a
just
city
need to,
issue,
you need to
but-
watch your language. A little
Yeah.
bit, I
I'm
imagine.
just an average Joe who
Well,
did not speak
You're like,
that
no,
day.
you're not.
It
500
doesn't
bucks.
even look like you. Let's just say it wasn't you.
I mean, you can join the club. I think we've shown mine here before from a long time ago, but I as well was also busted on the traffic
Oh my
jam.
God.
Yours is
Oh, no, look at the look on your face. You are joking. That's not you.
No, that is me. I've clearly just dumped off a body in that picture. No,
Yeah.
I was really mad because I had to go to DEQ,
It's
and I
in
was
the trunk.
I was pissed off about it because I'd failed. So I'd like
That's
going back
DEQ face right
the second
there. Yeah.
time. I'm like, oh, this is the last thing I want to do on a Friday afternoon, or I dumped a body. I'll just leave that up to
that was a
Either
bad
one.
day for you.
That was a bad day. Yeah,
But then later that night, he was wearing cheetah tights and he was playing the bass
And
guitar.
there
It was all on the
it is.
same
It's
day.
all-
Yeah, right.
It's a mystery. You
Yeah,
never
right.
know what I'm doing. All right, well, let's get to the topic. Jeff says right here in the chat, I thought this was about iPhones. Fair enough. Okay, let's get to the
Right,
first
right to
topic
it,
here.
yeah, sorry.
Yes, Jeff, I apologize.
Time
We'll
to
get to
get
the
serious.
iPhones.
Right, yeah.
So let's talk about the iPhone rumors that have come out this week. Every week there is something else that comes out about this. I think
Every
you could
day.
do every day. Yeah, you could do a full-time daily show just addressing iPhone rumors. And right now, the newest ones that have come out are this. You know, we kept hearing that the new one, whatever it's going to be called, the iPhone 8, or I think there's Edition was one of the names. There's a
The
bunch
X
of
or something,
X,
right?
yeah. Whatever it's going to be called, the rumors were that it was going to be delayed for when it came out and possibly like pushed back to later on this year, like December even. And now we're seeing some things that are proclaiming that it actually looks like it may be on schedule to come out in September, which is I guess pretty big if you're really anticipating getting this iPhone, which a lot of people are, and that's our question. I see a lot of people talking about it, whether or not there's a lot of no's in here. as far as whether you're going to buy it. There's a Jason asked, "What is an iPhone?" Which there's a lot of
Good question.
That's a very fair question. We'll see if we can get.
What is an iPhone?
What
anyway?
is an iPhone? The royal iPhone.
Yeah, it's like a Jaden Smith
Right.
question. Yeah.
Right.
Why is an iPhone? Have you guys ever thought about that?
I've got an incoming call on this one. That's
New
good to know.
Jersey.
Oh, all right.
They're going to tell us what an iPhone is, I think.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah, coming in on our
You are
Android
caller
phone.
9. You have one.
That's
Matthew,
Chris Christie.
we will be talking about the Galaxy as well. So we've got an actual demonstration we're going to do here in a minute. But with the iPhone, so that's the rumor, is that now it may be coming out in September. It is, a lot of the delay was because of the fingerprint scanner, which they want to have that underneath the actual display, and whether or not that's going to happen or not. So that was one of the possibilities of why.
Because it's supposed to be
delayed.
like the entire screen, right?
Yes.
It's not going to have an edge, and so it'll be all
Yep.
built in.
If this works, it's genius. We'll get to that. I think it's absolute genius for it to be like that, as opposed to fingerprint sensors on
Yeah.
the rear of the phone.
Would that be enough to influence you to buy one, like just that fingerprint scanner?
It's also going to be $1,000 too.
yeah.
Well, that I'm an early adopter, so sometimes I have a tendency to decide that's where I'm going
Pay
to
the
put my
$1,000
mild budget.
right.
Yeah, I'll pay the
Yeah.
$1,000. That's what I'm trying to say. But for me, one of the biggest issues is the mechanics of the phone. So my phone spends most of its time face up. So the idea of having a fingerprint scanner in a place where I can get to it easily is exactly what I want. It's not on the rear of the phone, like so
Right.
many
Like
of the phones
Google.
we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Because they think of you as handling the phone all the time, so like, well, your finger's already back there. Why not do that? But I'm like you, especially like when you're in the car. If your phone goes to sleep while you're driving, the last thing you want to do is like reach around, pull a reach around maneuver in the car.
Right.
On your phone. Yeah.
Not
And
that
if it,
kind.
for those of you listening via audio, Caleb is demonstrating his
The reach around.
technique.
His reach around
Yes.
technique.
It's
Yeah.
a little work.
Yes. Mhm. Clinical.
I come around the side as opposed to underneath. But still,
Yeah.
you're not. Just put your finger there on the surface of the screen.
Welcome to
of the
DT
phone.
After Dark. Just put your finger there and then reach around. It's not that big of a
quotable.
deal. Yeah.
That's a
It's
quotable.
going soft. It's fine. Have you done this before?
I am so glad I'm here, you guys. This is amazing.
Yeah. Now Jack is doing a reach around through the window.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Jack.
This is how the show's already gone.
Yeah.
We're about 5 minutes in.
Already off the
iPhone,
rails.
iPhone,
Already
iPhone.
off the rails.
iPhones. Yeah, we're
iPhones. So yes, fingerprint scanner. The other thing about the iPhone now is that there's not only going to be 3 phones, possibly 4 phones that'll come out with this, including, this is another spec shot. It's always from China or Korea. Somebody's got some secret picture they take of maybe possibly the new iPhone. This is for the iPhone SE though. So these are what the rumors are for that. And that there's going to be another iPhone SE.
With the dual camera, is that what that was showing?
Dual camera, I think that's what that one is showing, and they're going to change up the design some from what it was before. I mean, you guys are iPhone people. All 3 of you are iPhone
Yep.
people,
Yep.
I assume, in here. All right, I'm an Android person, so iPhone SE. What are the benefits of an iPhone SE? You tell me. Like, why would you want to get an iPhone SE over the other one?
It's just a lower cost,
Just
smaller
just that
size.
it?
Somebody
Size, right,
who isn't into like the borderline phablet phone that wants a smaller size
go.
and wants to spend a little less money on
Great
it,
for my
but still
mom.
have the entire iPhone experience and access to everything that provides.
It also probably functions a little bit better because they've had a year to work out the kinks of the original iteration.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's trickle down. It's the trickle down phone.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense for Apple to make it.
And
Yeah, you're either an early adopter or you're the off-ear phone, right? And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which is better. I almost like the off-ear phones better
the
because
off-ear is
they've worked
better.
out
As
the
someone who
kinks.
has put in a lot of money to things
Right.
that didn't work well the first time.
I'm
it's the
totally an
off-ear.
off-ear phone guy.
Yeah. No, you're not going to be the early adopter in September.
No, absolutely
thanks.
So you'll
not.
go for 7 SE then.
Yeah.
So I need a new phone too, and I'm like, should I wait until September? Like my phone is
You
like
could
dying
talk yourself out of
every
getting a
day.
new phone
Right.
every single day of the week. So when it's time, if it's dying and it's dead, just get it done.
Just
I'm
get
getting
one.
bored with the
Yeah.
iPhone though. I mean, I've
Right, yeah.
always owned an iPhone since my Nokia brick, right? And I
Right.
feel like I'm just bored with it. Like I picked up a G Flex 2, which is a 2-year-old Android phone. I was like, hey, this is kind of fun, Plus, Android Auto is very different than CarPlay. Each one has its benefits, but
Right.
there's some benefits to dabbling around in the Google universe as well.
Well, and let's talk about that actually right now because I'm in the market. I've always been an Android person, so iPhones, I've just never gone down that road. It's confusing to me even turning them on because I'm just not used to using that.
That's exactly what I told you when we were discussing my experience with Android.
Yeah, and you're complete opposite. And Stephanie has actually been using over the last several months. You've got an array of phones in front of you here.
So it's so stressful as a lifelong iPhone user. I mean, I got in on the first one. I've owned every single one. I even brought my little itty baby 3GS that still works. The battery works great on it. So I get handed effectively $4,000 of phones that I'm on the hook for if they don't get shipped back when we're done looking looking at them. So I was terrified of all this.
Everybody had to sign a
Sorry in
waiver to walk in
advance,
here.
'cause I'm walking away with that
There's-
G6.
So, yeah,
Right?
we can't just take whatever we like.
So here's the thing on this, though. Every single one turns on a different way. So I was like, oh, how do I? And you'd think it'd be so simple, but if you're not used to it, even setting up
Yeah.
your email is kind of a
Right.
pain, which I think you'll run into if you've been there from the beginning.
Oh, I've
That's been
I've
my-
done it. It's not as simple
not
as
pretty.
iPhone.
No.
Well, and you've got two in particular here that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
You've got the brand new Galaxy S8.
'Kay.
Which, I mean, this is the phone. This is one I've really, really wanted to try. Because I'm kind of deciding right now between if I were to get one, either the S8 or the G6, if I were to go that high end. And
There you go.
you had a chance to try these out. Being an Apple person on top of that, you're kind of a blank slate when it comes to these, I guess. That you don't have any bias already built in from using Androids.
I don't. And the one that I like the best, I like for the worst reasons. So if there's time, we can get to that. But if you're going to talk about the G6 versus the S8 specifically, I actually prefer the G6. But I'll tell you, Julian, who does all of DT's mobile reviews, broke down, I mean, spec by spec. If you search digital trends, S8 and G6, his article will pop right up. And it is so good. And he actually prefers the S8. What I could not get past is the side, this infinity screen, this sort of, small bezel, beautiful wraparound all glass deal. And the reason is I kept accidentally triggering the side tabs and or closing myself out of applications, even just trying to set up the fingerprint sensor. Which, by the way, let me, in terms of accessing the home screen or setting up your apps, because when you initially do it, you've got to, show it your fingerprint, and I touch the side of the screen and the whole application would close out. The location of the fingerprint sensor directly next to the camera is my worst nightmare. I like a soft filter. I'm serious, I'm up in age, like it's preferable for me, but it's greasy. If you're getting there, you can see it. Try it with
Yeah,
your
no,
size
that's-
fingers. I've got lady fingers.
That's
now
just-
put a
right.
man hand on there and just forget
Well,
about
and
it.
you
This
have to
isn't-
you have to flip it over and look at where it's at, or you're just going to smudge it all
Right.
over the
Whereas,
camera.
like with the Google Pixel, at least it's pretty clear. I mean, you can close your eyes and find that no problem, and you've not smeared up your screen.
So that sensor on the S8, that's the only way to unlock that.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
can
mean,
push this right
Right,
now,
we've
but-
got it unlocked, so
Yeah.
I passed it around the office to let folks mess with it. But so the side tabs, while the edge panels they call them, which I think ultimately they'll sort of figure out the working access of it. But look, if Julian, who lives and breathes this stuff, acknowledges that as a mechanical sort of issue with the phone in terms of how we use it,
Right.
it's going to drive someone nuts who's maybe not as experienced with it. So for that reason alone, the phones, generally speaking, are very, very comparable. There's a little give, a little take
Yeah.
here. If you're spending more than $700 on a phone, you're getting a good phone, right? But I actually prefer the G6 just because it's got the standard side that I'm used to feeling. And
Isn't
so,
Apple wanting to do that?
Yes, that's one of the
Basically.
big
Taking that
rumors
out, right.
that they're talking about. And I would imagine that if the fingerprint sensor then sort of became anywhere on the screen, that would work for me because, again, my phone spends most of its time face up.
Right.
So that would work. But additionally, it's not going to be lost on them as more and more people get their hands on this phone, that accessing and making sure you're not disabling stuff from,
Right.
the way you hold it naturally. I think Apple,
So they would put
Yeah.
it literally
Taken care
anywhere
of.
on the screen, or they want to build it into the bottom like this?
It's still rumor, but the way I read about it is it would make the whole, because it would enable wireless charging
Sure.
because of its the glass components used, which they'd have to make strong, obviously. But then the other thing too is that the whole screen would function as a fingerprint sensor, which
Right.
sort of made me laugh. There was that great internet meme that showed the rumored iPhones, one of which had no speakers, no charging port, no nothing, like no home button. It was
Right.
just like a brick, like a paperweight, and they're like, "This is what's coming next." So
This is what the people want.
this is what the people want. So we'll see.
Are we going to throw them in the water?
I'm
Okay,
so
yes.
glad you reminded me.
So we do have a demo. So for the podcast listeners right now, that's great. So now we know a little bit more about these. So you would go with the G6, just to kind of wrap that up. Like that's the one you would choose.
This is the Samsung's real pretty. It's real pretty, but I would go with the G6.
I've used LG for years, actually, all their products. Not the high end ones like that, but I've got to say, I mean, I love their products.
Yeah.
So okay, so the G6. And side note, we have a giveaway right now. That wasn't a plug for it, but we really do have a giveaway for a G6. That sounds like I'm not.
By
giving
the
one.
way.
By the way, LG, if you'd like to send me a G6, no, but we do have a giveaway right now for everybody who's watching or listening. It's going on. If you go to digitaltrends.com, you can enter in for the giveaway for the LG G6. And the giveaway tab is right at the top of the page if you go there. So enter it. I mean, enter a chance to win one. It's pretty great.
We'll
And then
send you the one we're about to dunk in the water.
Yeah, and then you can just send me one of
as
yours
is.
if you win. Yeah, that's
All
fine.
I ever wanted to
We'll just
do-
transfer it directly to me, and there it is. We're set.
I wanted to put phones in water, and that was it because it was always someone else on my old tech show that used to do it, and I called the company because I was like, if I send these back, if these fry, I don't want to be on the hook 800. But they're like, no. So I'm actually nervous. It's so silly because they're
Do it.
supposed to be
there's
water.
Do it. There it goes.
So there you go.
There we go.
They're supposed to
Double
Shoot
header.
phones in the water. Are you going to leave them in the whole time and see what
No,
happens?
No, I really
How
don't.
long can they be in there for?
30 minutes
In
at
theory.
up to 1 meter, so about 3.5 feet.
Okay, well, look
Okay.
at that. That's just good to go, as if right as rain.
Now, what I want to do is like
one's
How
out.
nervous
video
are
or
you right
something.
now?
I want to hear
Ouch.
what happened to the speaker. You know what I'm saying? That because that's the funny thing when you use
Oh,
them
yeah,
right
sure, and
after
there's
they've
water
been in
in
the
there.
water.
Right.
I bet it kind of warbles the
Womp,
speaker
womp,
a little
womp.
bit.
Charlie Brown.
Both the one that you put up to your ear and the one that plays. Speaking of movies and stuff, which one do you think has the better looking screen?
This one.
The S8.
Yeah.
For watching
Video
movies.
Well,
and
they're
TV?
both. They're both. I mean,
Movies?
they're both.
Because the G6 will
This has
do-
got that better backlight, though, right? That's what I
The-
pull up what Julian was saying on it.
Well, the G6 will do Dolby Vision HDR on Netflix now.
Look, I'm still
which-
rocking earbuds, so I'm not a good idea.
I'm just saying, like, there's some other advantages to the G6 right now. The S8 will probably catch up on a lot of those fronts, but they're both gorgeous screens as far as I can tell, and they're both
Yeah.
working, having gone in the water.
All right.
You know what? I feel like that needs to go back in the water.
Yeah, it's like it's funny because
Yep.
like it.
Everybody take a dunk.
Yeah,
Everybody
there we
dunk
go.
it.
I'm not
I like
on
to
the
see
hook
the
for
bubble.
it.
There is some,
Hey.
even though we know
Not
there's,
my iPhone,
I went
yeah.
to collect all the other phones, and I'm like, don't do the Google Pixel. It's not waterproof.
yeah. I mean, even though we know they're waterproof, it's still something satisfying about
You wanna
throwing
toss
it
it
into
in?
the water.
Yeah, I would like that cathartic
There it
experience
is.
of
All
that
right.
was. Yep, sure
Yeah.
enough. There
Get
they
yourself
are.
a phone, throw it in water.
Phone action.
I want to turn it that here in a little bit. We need. All right, we need
Oh,
to get somebody else
it's
though,
back in there.
before the chaos ensues here.
I'll take those boys.
Let's talk about phones because we do have several other things that we want to get to today. We're going to talk about Alexa and the new Echo Show and the drop-in feature and a bunch of stuff with that. We've got MIT robots and how
Yes.
they're learning. Some people are trying to figure out how to speak to dolphins. I'll explain that later. Right now, though, let's talk about phones, though. One more thing with 5G rollout, which I
Yes.
think a lot of people have been seeing more and more about 5G popping up in the news. And we're not there yet. But companies are rapidly going towards that. And Sprint just put in, and Sprint's just one of a bunch of companies. They've just dropped, I think, $8 billion is what they just spent, which in some aspects is kind of small compared
Sure.
to how much they're driving. This is just the beginning of what they're spending to start developing 5G networks and how that's going to end up working, which if you think about it with phones, it's going to be a lot faster. Like if you just talk about phone service.
It's
'Cause-
beyond a lot faster.
Beyond. I mean,
Way beyond that.
One example, AT&T, and they're the ones that are actually going to roll out something, what?
Oh man,
You don't believe it.
No, here's the thing. AT&T, what they're doing is considered by many, myself included, to be very shady because they're marketing this 5G evolution type
Yes.
thing, right?
It's
and
true.
And the thing is
'Cause
that
it's a
they're
buzzword.
It's exactly. They want. I mean, it is their way of saying we're moving towards 5G, but so is everybody else. And what they're stamping as 5G. 5G evolution. It's a little misleading. They don't have 5G yet. They're not even close. And they're kind of basically using 4G LTE and coming up with some tricks to make it a little bit faster and calling it 5G evolution. And granted, evolution suggests
crafty
that
marketing.
it's a step, right? But it is crafty marketing.
But isn't it that way? Oh, to some degree, maybe it's how it's marketed, but it's that way for everyone, right? I mean, to get the infrastructure that has to be there to make this 5G where it's going to be 10 years from now, as opposed to sort of a rollout in 2018.
Well, if you look at what T-Mobile is doing, they were the big winners at this bandwidth auction, right? So
Yep.
the FCC had this Nerd Fest where they auctioned off a ton of airwaves, right? T-Mobile made out like a bandit. They have so much bandwidth that they get to play in. It's a gigantic sandbox that they get to play in now, and they are just like everybody else committed to making 5G a reality by 2020. It looks like the hardware manufacturers are like pretty much ready to pull the trigger. But what's the point if the cell phone or the,
Right,
the
if
service
the
companies
network's
are
not
delivering
there,
it, right?
yeah.
So here's the thing that people need to understand first and foremost. There's no standard yet, right? There's nothing. There's
That's
some
coming out later this
ideas.
year?
We hope so.
It's supposedly at the end of 2017.
Right.
Yeah.
By the time we get into CES, and I think 5G will be the big buzz term at CES this upcoming year. But here's what's exciting. Eventually, it'll be here. People are kind of saying 2020 right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to completely change everything. It uses less power. It's ridiculously fast. We're talking about we're starting at the gigabit level,
Yeah.
and then moving from there. And I think that you think about holding your phone and being able to download things really fast and watch videos faster and stuff like that. But what I'm really interested in is what this is going to do to your home internet, right? Right now, most of us have wires coming into our house, and we're sharing that with everybody else. And for people who live in rural areas that can't get decent internet, they have to, like my girlfriend had to rely on a satellite dish for internet for a long time, right?
Wow.
Terrible.
friends in
That's
Canada.
super slow.
My
right?
parents are out in the middle of nowhere. They have to rely on
Exactly. And the
satellite,
reason why they don't get fast internet out there is because it requires a lot of trenching and digging and post building and wire leading. I mean, our own chief technology officer is just now getting proper internet at his house and is paying quite a lot of money for Comcast to dig trenches and wire up. And that's just one home, right? You don't have to worry about any of that with 5G. We're all like streaming 4K movies to our heart's content, right? Wirelessly. Like we don't have to have in-home internet anymore. So like it's a lot easier to build one tower and serve thousands of people than it is to run a bunch of lines. And I think that's what's really exciting. Here's the problem though. What are they going to charge for it?
Oh,
and
I was just-
and
I
are
get
there going to
throttled
be data
right now
limits? Are
on
they
my
going to give us a
unlimited.
data
Have to
cap?
be. If you're streaming 4K movies at that speed, you can go through 20 gigs in a day.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can go through 20 gigs. I mean,
But maybe that's the new paradigm. Maybe like we just use a butt ton
Yeah.
of
So
data.
terabytes of data per month.
they're
Yeah.
estimating
Volume
like
through.
the one example, and this is the AT&T, and I know it's the fake 5G that we just determined. But I mean, this is the speeds are pretty similar to what you can expect, I think, and that's 15 gigs in 9 seconds is what you could end up being able to do over a 5G network. I mean, that's crazy. Fast. You can do so much with that. But yeah, it'll be how much they're going to charge, but also, and Rich just brought it up here on Facebook, the limited range. So it's how many of these things are you going to have to put up? How many towers are you
You
going to
should
have
see
to put
the
up
fight in our neighborhood
to-
over a
to
cell
do
phone
that?
tower.
Yeah. Oh, I've got that
People
same
want
thing.
it, just not in their backyard.
Nextdoor app is great for watching that stuff. People just fight back and forth all the time.
So T-Mobile's
it's
going to be
fun.
the new internet
But,
provider, essentially. Right?
Yeah,
You're saying
T-Mobile
T-Mobile is
or
going to be the one,
Sprint
right?
or whoever. Yeah, that's what they would be able to fight with.
I wonder how Comcast feels
So
about
now
all
I need
this.
to get
Yeah.
the T-Mobile unlimited data plan
Yep.
because my current one is not working for me.
Yeah, do it now
anymore.
and just get
Yeah,
grandfathered
that's
in.
it, yeah. But they'll change that too. As I
Oh,
play.
absolutely.
Jason on Facebook says, "I'm shallow enough that I wouldn't buy a house if I found out I couldn't get good broadband." So that's the priority.
No, I'm with
I probably
you.
would too.
I
Yeah,
know.
honestly. Yeah, I would probably move. But that's where it is. So yeah, those are the big questions. What is it going to cost, and how available will this really be? You know, once they start rolling this out, is it really even going to be by 2020? Or because they're saying they're making all these promises,
I don't
that's
think it will.
that's a lot of infrastructure to put up.
I mean, they can use existing towers. They can use existing technologies. They can use existing antennas in some cases. Like I think they are going to be able to deploy a little bit faster than we think. They've got the bandwidth. That was the important part. They and T-Mobile will tell you they're not just using 600 megahertz. They're using several different
Very low
parts
end
of the
ones, yeah.
spectrum. Right, they're all over the map. So I think 5G is more than just like a faster connection. I think it's a whole new kind of network that uses multiple different parts. AT&T, for instance, is saying, look, some of this is actually going to be delivered by Wi-Fi instead of your standard cell signal. So it's going to be a
crowdsourcing
hybrid.
everything,
yeah, exactly. They're gonna kind of mesh everything
Yep.
together into one big super fast network.
That's
and
smart.
2020 might be when it starts arriving. But a few years down the road after that, that's when everybody's going to really be using it.
Right.
Like your phone just comes with 5G.
Yeah.
And that's just
Years
how it'll be.
after that.
Well, that's the 5G discussion, just talking about that. And it is exciting, like when it'll actually get here. We've got several things to get to. I can't believe it's already 23 minutes into this show. We've got a few things to get through here quickly, but I do want to spend just a little bit of time talking about Alexa and Amazon and their announcement. With the Echo Show, kind of a couple of things with it. So the new Echo that's going to be coming out is going to have an actual screen on it, and it is enabled for video calls. You'll be able to make video calls through this thing. All kinds of possibilities are available with this new device. And on top of that, they've got the Alexa calling app, which I guess is going to be available for existing.
It's available
Echoes.
right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to go home and do it tonight.
I know. I'm going to do the
Calling
same
from
thing.
Alexa?
Yeah.
Oh,
Here,
I'll
we'll
call you.
Yeah, let's call each other. Okay, there we go.
Do we just become best friends?
I think we did.
We're already criminals together,
Yeah,
so
right,
yeah, it makes sense.
What do we want to do next, man?
Alexa, where do I
Where
put
are
the
the
body?
cameras? Yeah.
So I think you were saying though it only works from like Amazon enabled devices, right?
From Echo to Echo. You have to have an Echo Dot, or the other portable one. I forget the name of it right now. It's a dumb name. That's why I don't remember.
It does have a dumb name.
But I mean, yeah. So and now the Echo Show, when it comes out, will also do it. But it's only Echo to Echo. So the cool thing is the Alexa app on your phone is able to help find other people with Alexa apps on their phone.
Am I the only one that does not want this at all?
Oh, no, it's great.
I think a lot of people don't want, like, with the
Thank
screen.
you. I don't want to be like, hey, Caleb. And you're like, what? Where's she?
Well,
Hi.
there's two
I'm in the
things with
kitchen.
it. So this is the Alexa calling one. You can deny that. Like if somebody rings in, it'll say,
Right.
I guess, as opposed
It's not
to
just
It'll
a live
announce it.
feed. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that one you can just ignore it. You can
Little green ring on your speaker.
Yeah.
It rings like a phone, and then you can answer
like,
it if
not
you want
home,
to.
not home, yeah, or whatever you say, and it'll deny that thing. The one you're talking about is with the Echo Show. The other thing they're going to be instituting called Drop-In, which is the worst name ever because I do not.
So unappealing.
Oh my god!
Just dropping in. It's like I'm sleeping.
yeah,
Like, it's like the middle of the night.
yeah, and this is
In
something
your
they're-
kitchen, naked.
My mom
Yeah.
would do this
Frosted
all
Flakes.
the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Rick, what's going on, buddy?
Right.
Yeah,
And it's video.
just dropping in.
Essentially, they're saying you can connect instantly with your closest family and friends. You can ring into someone. They don't have to answer it. You're just instantly there.
You're in the home.
They can't deny it. Like if you enable them, they're just boom, sitting right there.
Sounds
watching
like
you.
somebody at Google has been screened on their phone calls one too many times. They are like, damn it, I am reaching you. I don't care what you're doing. I will come into your house.
She's
and
not
see
blocking
you."
me this time.
Right. Hey.
I can't think of a single person that I would authorize for this.
No.
Not a single person. I mean, so it's there, but I can't think of anyone I would
Not even
allow
your
to do this.
girlfriend. Like, what?
No,
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 I don't want
dropping
anybody
in on me.
No, I don't like when people pop in just to my house.
Like physically.
Right.
No,
Yeah, right.
No, I'll pretend I'm
They'll
not
knock
there.
on the door and you look out and you're like, just back away slowly.
Damn it! What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I mean, I'm in my kitchen often in my boxer shorts, just screaming Hall & Oates. You know what I mean?
Everybody at home
Yeah,
picture
right.
that right now.
I don't
You
need,
do that too?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need people popping in to see
Yeah.
me do
Doesn't
this.
everybody?
Get that
Yeah.
mental image going.
I sing both parts. I don't need somebody else to sing.
Hey, Caleb,
I got this. Yeah.
Notice you're singing Hall & Oates, buddy. What's going on?
Do you need help?
Oh, so good.
But that's what it is. I mean, the one thing I can say with the Echo Show that will be cool is once it starts rolling out to businesses. And I was thinking about it because who's it? The Wynn Casino now has
Yeah.
Echoes
Yeah, in every
in
room,
all
yeah.
of their rooms. Like that might be a kind of a cool feature if you could not the drop-in part of it, but if you could actually talk to somebody.
Drop in.
Definitely
Yeah.
not.
Even better
Housekeeping,
in
like,
Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
in
you pay a
Vegas, right.
subscription, you can randomly drop in. On, no.
Right.
No, but I mean, I could see some advantages of that, of just being able to like instantly video chat with somebody. Down
Well, if
at
it
the
tells you
desk
who
or-
has it and you're like scrolling through, like, oh, the Pizza Hut near me has it, I'm gonna like FaceTime them, phone call them on
Yeah.
the thing, and like, oh, I see my pizza,
Pizza
guy.
Hut, it's 2 a.m. and I'm hungry.
Yeah, right. Can you bring me a
Sound just
pizza?
like
And you leave, and they're closed, and you leave that message. I would love to watch all of those drunken video messages the next morning.
I think this will be amazing for YouTube once
Yeah.
it actually goes live.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd love for people to do some screen captures or just record their interactions.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what the DT should do is to get some of those and put them in random houses and just enable it and see how it actually goes. Be like, all right, today we're
That would be
partnering
an
up. Let's just
experiment.
make it happen. I think it'd be hilarious.
I'm just gonna put a blanket over it. I wouldn't like. I'm blocking that.
It looks like something like some
Yep.
nature special where you're looking underneath it.
Nope,
to see who's
not for
there.
me. Linda, though, who's not a horrible person like we are, just said the elderly could benefit from that feature. Actually,
100%,
So,
Linda.
Yeah, you are right. That is actually a
You
good
pop
use
in
for
on
that.
As they could from a
elderly
cheaper
mom and
iPhone.
make sure that she hasn't fallen and she can't get
I
up.
just like
Yeah,
don't
or
do it
somebody-
too quickly. Like you
Yeah.
want to pop in like quiet. You don't want to scare her. Like what are we? Hey, mom!
But as I'm thinking
This
about
message
that,
brought
here's
to you by
me
Life
trying
Alert.
to make it all serious when everyone's making a good joke. But realistically, you could use that in assisted care facilities.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
you
a
could,
lot
yeah.
of situations which I think would change the game. If people knew that at any point in time someone's dropping in.
Yeah, and that's true. So there are some good benefits. I mean, this is rolling out quick. I think the Echo Show. Let's see. I'll have to double check on when it's releasing, but the Amazon calling feature is already out.
Yep.
And
Seems
Echo
like
Show
the next
will be available.
logical step for
Yeah.
Alexa. Anyways, I don't know about the drop-in feature,
Yeah.
but the screen feature and being able to interact with a touchscreen with your Alexa that's not just talking to like a device in your kitchen.
So there we go. So you can look up more information about that at digitaltrends.com. We got all those details. All right, 2 quick things to get to here. One, I'll just kind of briefly talk about it because every week it feels like we have some story that sounds like it's the beginning of the robot apocalypse. And MIT is contributing this time with their lab. It's called C-Learn, Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. And what they're doing right now is they've got a program where they're teaching robots to teach other robots and learn from their experiences and apply it to the next robot.
Nope.
And yeah,
What could
Nope.
go wrong? What could go wrong?
Nothing could go wrong here.
Wait a minute. That's like the worst idea because
The worst idea because they're basically
they're just going to learn from each other.
Yeah, they're saying that this way humans don't have to spend all the time programming them. It'll just they give it. It's kind of a multifaceted thing. The way it works is they do some programming and then they teach them about basic geometric information and reaching and grasping, and then the robot takes that information, learns how to accomplish this task, and then teaches that to the next robot.
They took a
on how to do
small, basically a small unit, and then taught a humanoid-like robot to perform the same function, which I don't know was maybe a misstep in terms of optics, because that's exactly where
Right.
my fear resides.
Right.
Even if there really is a benefit for
is
this
funny,
prior to AI, I think AI is where the issue comes in. If you just want to teach, if you just want to have basically one robot program another, okay, but that's
Just
not
like
what we're talking about
no.
here. We're talking
Machine
about
learning?
AI.
No, and once it
Right.
starts learning, I mean, the algorithm's just going to keep it going,
Right.
going,
I like
going.
the
Teaching
creative
Google.
right? So
Yeah.
like the humans don't need to be bothered with teaching robots. We'll let the robots do that. I like that. What do
This
we
is
have going
smart.
on that we can't teach
It's
our own
like,
robots?
hey, kid.
You know, like we don't need to be bothered with these robots we created. You guys can play
You
together.
guys do your own thing for a while.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 10 years when you take over.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what
I love how everything that they do in the video is just seemingly innocuous. Like, I'm pulling a pipe out of a block of, and I'm
Right.
dropping a water bottle.
It's not
in a
till
bucket.
Boston Dynamic
Yeah.
gets a hold of it that you're like,
Exactly.
oh, I see what they're going to
taking
do.
a
I'm
samurai
thrusting a
sword.
sword.
Yeah, exactly.
this
Through
arm
your
needs
gut.
removed from this human.
Yeah.
I am removing
I'm
that arm.
taking somebody hostage. Yeah.
You don't need that liver.
Yeah, right.
So there's more details about that at Digital Trends. And then the final thing I wanted to get to, talking about artificial intelligence and where it's going, and this is pretty fascinating. So it's a startup company, a Swedish-based language startup company. I'm going to mispronounce it. Gavagai AB. We'll say GAB. We'll just pronounce it that way.
Yeah,
They are
super
working,
Swedish.
Right, yes.
Sounds like
I could do some terrible Swedish accent, but I'm not going to do that. So they're working with researchers with KTH Royal Institute of Technology. It's essentially this. They're on a 4-year project using artificial intelligence to gather as much dolphin language data, yes, dolphin language data as possible, with the goal being by hopefully 2021 being able to decode and understand the dolphin language and speak back to it.
Say it,
using
Stephanie.
that same.
Say what we're all thinking.
So long and thanks for all the fish.
Yes. Oh
it.
my gosh, and that's the first thing I saw or
Yeah.
thought when I saw the story. But they believe very firmly that dolphins speak very much like humans do, and that
Sentence
they
structure
have
even, and-
individual words. They pause to listen to each other.
They
don't just-
mansplain. I'm teasing.
well, actually, yeah. Like that dolphin just actually the other dolphin.
Man, Flipper has a huge
I'm
blowhole,
totally
doesn't
Yeah,
he?
right.
But I think this is so cool if they can use
Yeah.
an algorithm, some AI to figure this out.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I am
pretty
so-
cool.
Gone are
yeah.
those swim with the dolphin excursions, because those dolphins are unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, hey,
I'm-
by the way,
That's the thing. I don't want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
I don't
All right,
think-
I'm gonna
not
grab him by
like-
the feet. If you go for the head, like what the get me out
Can
of
I
here.
eat it? Can I eat it? Can I eat it?
What if
Will
they
it
are? What
blend?
if they're like all like at 6-year-old or like 4-year-old toddler level with their thoughts and whatnot, and it just turns out that they're extremely annoying, and we don't want to hear what they're
Right.
talking about. anymore. Hi. Do you have fish? Do you have fish? I want a fish right now. Hey, give me a fish. Hey, what's over there?
What are you
Is
doing
that a
here?
ball?
Yeah.
Can we play
Turn
ball
it
right
off. Turn it
Yeah.
off.
that is the best thing we've said
that
for
could
this
be-
whole
yeah.
half an hour.
It may be that we don't actually want to know what the dolphins are talking about. Or on the flip side of that, it could be like the complete opposite. Like, you, sir, are a moron, and
Yes.
you have been destroying my habitat for the last 3
Help
decades.
me.
We're like looking
Help.
beyond planets
Yeah.
for alien life, but
Soon
like
we
the
shall
dolphins
destroy
are just
you.
like these
Yeah.
humans are terrible, you know.
And
Yeah.
it turns out they've been hatching a plot to kill us all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is part of it. They're like, excellent.
working with the robots. That's what it is. I think that's what we're going to
They
find
figured out that we can talk to each other.
Yeah, once
we
they-
have to act right now.
Once the AI and the dolphins start interacting, they can cut us out of that really
Just
easily.
the robots riding the dolphins into this apocalypse.
And there's the new movie that we
Turns out
yeah.
they put laser beams on sharks' heads
That's
200
yeah.
years ago, and they're like, we already did that. It didn't work. You guys are idiots.
Right.
All right, well, there's the details. You can find that out at digitaltrends.com, all about speaking to dolphins. I think that's about it for today. Steph, thank you so much for coming in today.
Hey, this was a blast, you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I really want to throw one of these phones in
Not
water.
that
Not
one,
that
not
one.
that one. Oh, there goes my
This
modem
one,
mod.
Greg.
All right, yeah, that one.
All right, which one am I safe to do?
That one
Okay, there we
and
go.
This one.
All right.
Oh.
We'll just throw a couple more. No. All right, so there we go. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can always listen to this podcast, the audio version, on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe on there. We go live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Now I'm worried I dropped the wrong phone in there.
Are you guys
and I
playing
get
us
screwed
out?
up.
Where's the jazz coming
Yeah, are we getting
from?
play out music right now?
We do need some
It's my
play.
Like, all right, guys, you gotta go. It's 3:05. Like,
Okay.
fine, jeez. that was
That's
my
great.
speed.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much, guys.
When the
Have
Chuck
a great
Mangione
night.
starts, you stop.
That's about it for this week. All right, well, I'll have to dub in
We're
some play
getting
out
played
music.
out, yeah.
All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Someone.